Hello, Jodie.
Hello.
Welcome to
Hi.
Reads by Ross. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm thrilled actually because I feel like I'm so used to seeing you at parties and gigs over the years, so it feels a bit like surreal to be sitting down now talking to you. So yeah,
About books.
about books exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of, the book of the moment is
Uh,
"You Had to Be Here, You Had to Be There" by
Yeah.
the one and only icon Jodie Harsh. I loved it. I loved it so much. I mean, I kind of went into it sort of expecting to like it anyway, but I just found it really fun, really gossipy, really entertaining. But I also loved kind of how sort of like vulnerable you got and personal, which I
Mm.
don't know. I guess I maybe wasn't expecting as much. So for me, that just added so much, I don't know, depth to it, and that kind of like layer of authenticity. I just really, really enjoyed for it. So
Good.
congratulations.
Yeah. I kind of wanted it to be a two-pronged approach. I wanted it to be super fun and clubby and with a lot of sort of cultural stimulation in there as well. So that the whole club scene in London in the noughties that's gone but not forgotten in my head. And I also wanted to carry my story through as well. So it's kind of like a book about a scene and a time, and it's also a book about me. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I had to get personal because of that.
And that's it's so specific to like that decade in the noughties of your life in London. And I guess why now? Why did you look now in 2025 and think, or 2024 whenever you wrote it, like why am I sitting down to write it now?
Well, I never really set out to write a book until the idea was presented to me. Someone on my team actually said, "Why didn't you write a book?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." And they said, "Just sit down and just start writing. Let's just see what comes out." And I did a degree in writing, so it felt nice to be able to actually put that degree to good use. um, but why now? There was just so much conversation after the pandemic about the importance of nightlife and about nightlife was taken away from us as everything was taken away from us for a year or more, and so it. I guess you don't know what you've got till it's gone, right? So there was all this discussion about nightlife and the importance of it for and its place in terms of community and as a sense of a place to call home and a place for music and talent to breed and all that kind of stuff. So I just thought, well, I have a story that I have a life story that a big chunk of it is set in nightclubs. I mean, that I've basically lived in them and formed all my tastes in them and made all my friends in them, and they've been my communities and things. And I've worked in them. And so I thought, okay, maybe I should write a book about how nightlife has been important to me and about and almost record these places that are no longer around. All the venues, the majority of the venues I mentioned in the book have now gone. They're Starbucks or luxury flats. So it was nice just to kind of step back into those spaces. And obviously, you have to do so much research when you're writing a book. So I really felt like I was back in the clubs
Mm-hmm.
for a year of my life as I wrote it.
Yeah. Well, that's actually one thing that sort of like really impressed me about it is that you like the amount of detail throughout it. And I know what I'm like after a night out, and I just forget
Mm,
like half of the night. So I was so impressed that you were able to remember this. And I guess when
thanks.
you were sending out sort of the initial first proofs, you included all these kind of old flyers from the noughties, GAY. You had
Yeah.
you had Ghetto. I really enjoyed them, and it's just like I know you kept a lot of them, but did you?
Yeah.
Was it like hard for you to sort of piece back together all those nights, all those wild chaos nights?
Well, I've always been, as you said, a big archivist of my sort of club life. I've kept every flyer and every wristband and backstage pass. So I started by laying everything out and working out what I started with the parameter, the decade. So it was going to start from the moment I walked into a club, and the
Mm,
book was going to end about a year after I get sober because that's a 10-year period. So at least I had some constraints. I had just this period that was set in place. So then I got all my stuff out and I kind of looked at all the physical things to remember the places, because a lot of these places you can't really. Some club nights lasted for 4 weeks
yeah,
and
yeah,
they're not online really. Um, and then I looked through old pictures. I did a bit of Googling. Don't Google yourself, it's really weird. Um, and I asked a few friends, like, for reminders, like, what was that person called? That blah, blah, blah. Um, And so my research process went on for quite a while before I actually started properly writing. And before I started writing the book, I made a lot of notes as well. So I was quite I'd quite the whole construction was there in terms of like all the notes, and then I could just sit down and just use all those notes to write chapter by chapter. And each chapter is named after a club, as you
Mm.
know, that I'm going to at that moment in time. And so I had this sort of the book had this physical form that I had to stay within. So I wasn't just going, what shall I write about today? I was like, right, today I'm writing the chapter about Mahiki.
Mhm.
So what do I have? I have my list of notes from Mahiki. I have my wristband that reminds me of this night that I was at. I have this invite from this my friend's birthday party that was there. Right, I have a picture of what that would look like, and then I just started writing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. So I had a lot of kind of prompts basically that I'd laid out for myself.
Yeah, I think that is like such a cool framework to have
Yeah,
when you're
yeah,
writing it, because it takes you on a journey as well as a reader.
yeah, yeah,
And I guess like the book, as well as it being about you and your story, there's lots of characters and there's lots of real
yeah,
people through it. Did you have sort of
yeah.
any, when you sat down to write it, do you have any sort of any like apprehension about including other people and their stories? Like, how did you approach that?
I mean, there are some well-known people that are mentioned in the book, and the ones that are still around, I did check with before. There are a couple of name changes in the book, and there are lots of people that are no longer with us, so because they died. So I, tr- I think I speak about them very sensitively in the book, and it was never my intention to throw anyone under the bus. The only person I'm throwing under the bus in the book is me, because I'm fine with that. And so, yeah, I wanted the book to come out and it to not upset anyone at all. I wouldn't want anyone to call me up and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I've read your book. I'm not happy." Like that. That just feels icky. It's not the sort of book I wanted to write. I wanted the book to be more of a celebration of these people rather than a this person did this. Like that's not my story to tell.
Yeah. Cool. I think you do that so well in the book, to be honest.
Thank you.
Kind of all these people, it's so sensitively talked about, you know.
Yeah.
I suppose
Yeah.
the book has been out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
How's the response been so
The
far?
book's it's been amazing. It's crazy. Obviously, this is my first book, and so I've not been through this process before. So it's crazy to live with this piece of work that I've made and for such a long time. And of course, a few friends have read it, and it's obviously people at the publishing house that I'm with, and my team and people like that. But to then see, well, first of all, to get proofs out that first stage, which is at least 6 months before the book finally comes out, and to start hearing like because of you received a proof, so to hear like, oh, I've read the book, it's like because suddenly the work is like being
It's
seen
not
by
just yours
people.
anymore.
Exactly, exactly. And then I was doing a signing just before the book came out, and to see people walking away with the book physically in their hands, knowing that the piece of work is in that. I guess it's like the equivalent would be putting out an album, just something that takes a really, really long time to to make, and then suddenly it's out there, and therefore it's not the artist's anymore. Because now I was actually talking about this the other day. I don't think I'll now, unless it's for a work reason, if I have to sort of pick a moment of the book to read and a reading or something, unless it's something for work, I don't think I'll now read the book ever again
Interesting.
because it's now completely out there. If I have to reference it or something within it,
Yeah.
of course I will. I listened to the audiobook when that came out, just to see how it sounded. But I've read the book so many times because obviously each time you draft it, you then have to sort of read it through, marked it all up with notes and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like I've just read this book so many times and it now doesn't really belong to me. It's now out there and it's for everyone else. So that's a strange feeling as well. And I think I've heard on podcasts other authors saying that. And now I totally get it.
Yeah.
Now that I would not go and pick it up off my bookshelf and read it because it's now everyone else's, it's not
Yeah,
mine.
it almost like
Yeah.
takes on a sort of different form, I think, because kind of as you
Yeah.
said, like you literally spend so like you can spend years, and it's the same I think for like a lot of art in itself. You spend years,
Yeah.
and as soon as somebody else takes it on, it's like they can have it for maybe a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of
Totally.
weeks, and then it's just they have your whole perception of it kind of does change, which is
Yeah.
it's bonkers, right?
And it's funny. I had to flick through the other day because I was choosing a passage to read out
Yeah,
in a different reading, and I was sort of flicking through, and I was thinking, I don't remember writing that page. Like there's like bits that I don't really remember writing. It's like really
yeah,
weird now
yeah.
that it's out there. It's sort of I'm now less close to the text because it's
It's right. It's for
it's for everyone else.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of a cool thing. So
Nice. Well, I know that you're a big reader as well. Have you
I
had
am.
what have been some of your favorite books you've read this year?
I'm currently halfway through the audiobook of The Secret History, which is I read it a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Completely I love a thriller. I love a literary thriller.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was completely obsessed with it. I fell in love with the characters when it ended. I mean, it took me so long to read because it's such a big book, as
It's
you'll know.
huge. It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And the paper's so thin. And when I finished it, I was just bereft.
Yeah.
And but now I'm going back through it again on audiobook, and it's like listening to a whole new book. And Donna Tartt, the author, narrates it
Oh,
herself,
does
and
she?
she
Oh,
does funny accents for all the different characters. It's so funny. What have I read this year that I love? Let me think. I love The Lamb. I quite like a
yeah,
horror
yeah.
every now and again, so I love The Lamb. Shout out Lucy Rose.
Lucy Rose.
Um, I read another book about cannibalism since it's, spooky season. I
Okay.
read Tender is the Flesh, but I found it
Yeah,
so
I haven't
dark.
read that one actually. You
Don't read
love
it.
it? Dull.
It's not that it was dull. I found it was so heavy and depressing, and it was, no, it wasn't, it was disturbing.
Right. But two.
Yeah, it really sort of affected me. What else? There were Rivers in the Sky by Elif Shafak.
Yes. I'm such a big fan.
I don't know if that name pronunciation was correct. I loved it so
Yeah.
much. Oh my God, it's
Yeah. I need to
epic.
get around to that one actually. I need to.
I am now obsessed with her. Actually, is it the only book? I might have read a second one by her shortly after. But I now want to read her entire
Mm.
arc. I'm actually going to focus on a few different authors next year and kind of read their full works. I'm going to do all of Toni Morrison.
Yes.
I'm going to do I've done about half of Kazuo Ishiguro, but I'm going to do the rest. And there was another one. I think I'll do Elif Shafak, and there was another one as well. Who else? There was someone else. What else have I read this year? I read Demon Copperhead
Oh,
by Barbara Kingsolver, which was amazing. Um,
I really
I
like that
read
idea actually of you like, focusing for like on one
yeah,
kind of
I
bibliography, I
think
guess.
yeah, I think that would be a fun thing to do. I read a lot.
Yeah.
I do read a lot. I read every night in bed, obviously, unless I'm working.
Mm.
Um, I don't read that much non-fiction. I tend to listen to non-fiction more on audiobook.
Mhm.
I read Just Kids at the beginning of the year, if we want to talk non-fiction. Obviously, Patti Smith running around New York City. What else have I loved? Stag Dance by Tori Peters.
Yeah,
Not normally.
you have fabulous taste.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm not normally a short story person, but um I did love the Tori Peters book. It's
Yeah.
sort of four short-ish
It was really
stories.
sort of inventive, I feel like that one.
Yeah,
I hadn't read
yeah,
anything like it kind of before. It really pushed a lot of boundaries,
yeah.
new, which was exciting.
And she's such an amazing writer.
Yeah.
On the more commercial side of things, my mum and I buddy read Lisa Jewell.
I've never read
Uh
her, but she is so popular. She is
oh
so
my God.
popular. She's
None
good.
of this is true. Yeah, I think that's the only one I've read. None of this is true.
I sometimes
It,
do like a thriller as well. Every now and again,
yeah.
spice things up.
I read so broadly.
Okay.
Like I can literally read. I can go from like Rachel Cusk to Lisa Jewell. You know, I'm just like pro books.
Yeah.
I'm not snobbish about like, oh no, I'm like only into literary fiction.
Mhm.
No, I also love a mad, twisty,
Yeah.
like crime thriller. But then I'll also read, a Rachel Cusk book that is
Yeah.
like plotless, and just love the writing. But I've always been a big reader ever
Cool.
since I was a kid. This isn't some kind of new um side of me I've unlocked or anything. I've literally just always read I've just always read books.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I guess while we're also on the topic of other books, a kind of a fun question, like, is there any characters throughout the books that you've read that you would love to go clubbing with, or you would love to take to one of your club nights?
Who would I want to go I mean, all the people that I tend to love reading are like twisted, evil people. Aren't they?
They could be good on a night out.
Yeah, or like really
In a
unsavory
funny way.
characters. I'm trying to think like one of the people in any of the books that everyone's basically a sociopath in the book in the all the books that I've just listed. I will tell you who would be okay, genius answer. I would want okay, I would want to bring out Clara from Clara and the Sun
Is
by
she the
Ishiguro.
AI robot?
She's the robot, yeah.
Incredible.
But she literally looks, moves, talks like a human. And I think that she'd be great to bring on the night out because everyone would be like, "Who's your friend? And is that a robot?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, yeah,
And you get
yeah,
her to
well,
do the apple dance as well.
100%, yeah, exactly." And people will be like, "Oh my God, look, I've got the new Meta glasses," and I'll be like, "Well, I've got, I've got a
Yeah,
Meta person, yeah." Um, Yeah, okay, how about that? I think she
I
sort of
love that answer.
mimics, yeah, she mimic the what they call AFs, artificial friends. They
Yeah.
mimic the their sort of owners' movements and talking, I think.
Mhm.
So she could like dance, stomp about like me. I don't know.
I would want to see that for
That'd be
sure.
so chic. Love that, yeah.
Go behind the decks.
Yeah.
Cool. You also, I was at your event there recently for one of the launches for the book, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked something you said. You said that you sort of felt like drag was sort of your mask over the years, that you were able to like put on this whole kind of different persona and keep sort of your private
Mm.
life maybe separate, I guess, from the public life. So, was
Yeah.
there a part of you that kind of did it come naturally to you when it came to like sharing the more kind of personal, intimate moments of the book, or was that something that you sort of had to kind of wrestle with?
When I decided that I was going to do that, I was definitely going to write a
Yeah,
book. I um I thought the gloves were off. I handed everything over, and I was like, "This is it's all going in, basically." Um, I yeah, there was no doubts in my mind that that if I was going to be writing a book, I should write it with full honesty and leave out no gnarly details. Um, because I think people can get a lot from that sort of thing. You know, I talk about sobriety, I talk about my dad, I talk about drug use, I talk about getting groomed at school, all this stuff, and it was important for me to for it to all go in.
yeah,
Um, I think I'd feel like I was being dishonest if I didn't put that in, and I have always been a very guarded, boundaried person. But actually, one thing that I've got left is the fact that I present publicly in drag, and it does work as a mask.
yeah,
Um, I've also got loads of famous mates, and I've seen firsthand how kind of annoying it is to sort of to not have an off switch. I've been shopping about in Tesco's with so and so, and someone you can see people taking a secret picture, or
yeah, yeah.
someone will go, or like it just and it could just
You
be a
kind
bit
of
like,
have
well,
best of the both worlds. It's like a Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana,
Yeah,
exactly. It really works for me. I really
yeah.
like it.
Well,
I
I
like
kind of,
it.
yeah, dishonest for sure, but I also think like books like that don't kind of like scratch the surface or only scratch the surface and don't go any further. I find them quite lame. I find them quite boring, and I think
Yeah,
readers, I think they're harder to like resonate with those books, and I think memoirs that really push that and kind of
yeah,
not that you have to, but if you're willing to it, I think it opens up whole new sort of
mm,
dimension to the book, and I think
yeah,
that's particularly why I enjoyed it.
yeah. And my whole life is sort of spent in nightclubs, and it's been such a backbone of my adult life that I just think my whole life had to go in the book. You
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with like the success of this so far, and I just think you had a real knack for kind of the narrative of the writing, and I really loved
Thank you.
just your prose
Oh,
on a
thank you.
bare prose level. And I wondered, my last little question, would you turn your hand to anything else? Do you think you'd write any other books?
I yeah, I would definitely. I haven't done yet.
Hmm.
And I don't know whether it would be I would actually do another memoir at some point in my life. This book finishes when I'm 25, which is
Okay.
a while ago. So there's a whole there are tons more insane stories basically and like things and adventures that I've been on. Um, I mean, I wouldn't do it yet, but I think one day in the future, if I did do another memoir, I think the form would have to be completely different. Like it would have to be structured very differently. It wouldn't be club by club. But that's in the back, that's parked in the back of my mind. I've always got a million different ideas, creative ideas for,
Yeah, like let the
club
spark
nights.
go for now and see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This book's out there and doing its thing. But I'd be surprised if I didn't write another book at some point, at least one.
Okay.
Um, maybe fiction, maybe more memoir, maybe just a straight up non-fiction that isn't memoir. I'm not really sure, but I've enjoyed every step of writing this book. Genuinely, from the actual work, the actual sat down where it's just me in a room on a desk with my laptop, with my notes and my research and whatever,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
writing the book, to the publishing stage and learning about how all of that happens as well. And from pitching to going to auction, we had like an 8-way auction from different publishers, which was
Oh,
so fun and wild, and
yeah,
like it was like a roller coaster week, and I had to go and meet everyone, and I didn't even know that's how that
yeah,
works. And so I was learning on the job. I have an amazing literary agent, and she was sort of guiding me through all of that and telling me how it all works and guiding me, which was great. And then when the book got signed to Faber and I finished writing it, and then we went to sort of getting ready for publication and going through press and going through the proofs and all the different sort of the marketing ideas and then this and that. Um, that was so exciting as well. So all the different stages, and then when it's out there, or as it's about to drop and be out there, going out and meeting people and doing the readings and the signings and the Q&As and talking about the book to people like you, talking about it in bookstores and seeing the book sort of live in real life, and discuss it with people that have read it. All very cool.
yeah.
Um,
Full life
so I
cycle.
have enjoyed every step, and I would love to do it again.
Nice. Okay, that makes me
Yeah,
happy to hear because I feel like I'm
yeah,
sure you've got some more books in you.
yeah. I would like to think so, and I would, and thanks for saying that. I would really like to. No plans, and I've not like signed a
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
10 book. I haven't signed a 10 book deal or anything like that.
We'll give
But
her her moment right now, right? We'll give her.
yeah, yeah, you had to be there.
But
Yeah.
yeah, You Had to Be There is out now from all good bookshops. I highly recommend reading it. It's just a fantastic read. And Jodie, thanks so much for letting me interview you.
Thank you. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.